What's good, YouTube? My name is Manny. Welcome to the road to 100K per month. Basically, I am a 28-year-old entrepreneur living in Dallas, and I run two businesses. I run a recruitment agency, and I also run a Airbnb rental arbitrage business, which is what we're going to be talking about in this video, as well as I actually have another business that I recently just started that I think you'd be interested in. I'm going to let you guys know that later in the video, but basically, I decided to start this channel essentially to document my Airbnb journey. Currently, right now in January, so a year ago, we did 36,000. We have 12 units, and it's currently our slow season. So I did in another unit in the summer. Essentially, we'll probably be making a little over 40K. But so I started both businesses, my recruitment agency and my Airbnb business at the same time. So now I'm just mainly focusing on my Airbnb business because my recruitment agency business actually pretty automated a good way. So I decided I want to kind of really hone in on the Airbnb side because I've just seen in the last couple months or so just a lot of growth, and I think that definitely we can definitely hit the 100K mark, and I wanted to document that journey. So this is kind of why I started this channel. So just wanted to show you guys proof here. So 36,000 in January. I think it was like about 35-ish in December. Like I said, it's our slow season. So definitely low numbers for the amount of units that we have, but we're going to be scaling here until the summer where we'll kind of just see the fruits of our labor. But basically, all these units are all rent or arbitrage. I have 11 one bedrooms and one two bedroom, which I definitely plan to get more two bedrooms and get into single family homes and stuff like that. But basically, I wanted to start this channel so you guys would see everything. And if you were interested in it, rent or arbitrage, you can see all the behind the scenes. I'm going to show you guys monthly revenue, all expenses, profits, proven strategies that I did use to scale my business, as well as how I automated as well. And so basically, you'll see the wins, mistakes. I've had a lot of them about courses that didn't do me any good and different things like that. But ultimately, I want to show you guys the right way to do things. And so you guys will see all the behind the scenes and what's working and what's not. But for those of you that don't know what Airbnb rental arbitrage is, it got really popular here in the last several years. But basically, it's you're renting a property from a landlord apartment complex and you're furnishing it, taking pictures of it, and then listing on Airbnb. Airbnb is just a marketing platform, third-party marketing platform, and you could put it on Booking.com, Verbo, and platforms like that. Basically, I mainly focus on using Airbnb. I'd be testing out some different platforms, and I was kind of scared to kind of mess with the algorithm if it was connected, but I'm definitely gonna try and use like Booking.com and different things like I've heard. I'm missing out on some revenue, but basically after rent, other expenses, what's left is your profit. So for example, you could rent a one bedroom for 1,500, earn, let's just say 3,200 on Airbnb. And then after expenses and everything, utilities, whatever it might be, and you're left with 1,200, that's your profit. So basically, it's a low risk, make money on Airbnb without actually owning any property. I say low risk. It's with doing proper market research and different things like that. Because ultimately, if you do it the right way, you can predict essentially more or less per month what you're going to make, and it's pretty accurate, honestly. And that's what I'll be teaching you guys how to do proper market research. And so in January, I want to kind of give a quick recap, and I'm going to do this every single, probably going to make a video hopefully every week, but I'm going to have an overview of the entire month. But basically in January, really focus on dynamic pricing. I actually worked with a revenue manager just because I want to get better at my pricing. I use Price Labs for dynamic pricing. Honestly, I don't think I will ever use any other platform, but I decided for my slow season strategy, I wanted to lower my prices before other people did and just focus on getting booked. Increasing my cleaning fee a little bit, I was actually able to profit pretty well doing that because people would book in for a low fee. They didn't care too much about the cleaning fee, and that would make a little bit of money that could technically add to revenue. And that was my strategy. Also, I focus on guest upsells, so asking guests if they want early check-ins and late checkouts. And for the first year, I didn't even do that. I was just nervous about not pleasing the guests. I wanted good reviews, but that was a ton of money that I'm now learning, especially having 12 units that I was missing out on. And then automation, I would say my business is pretty I would say 95% automated. Use HostAway and went from Guesty to HostAway. And ultimately, I think that was a good move because I just like the more user-friendly UI. I think is better. That's kind of been working for me so far, but I'll let you guys know. And then the lessons that I learned basically is I was splitting time into between two businesses, and it definitely slowed my growth. So I've been, like I told you guys before, my first unit went up, I believe August 11 of 2023. And, 12 units is not bad. I definitely think I could have scaled a little bit further. It would be, around that 20 unit mark, the amount of work that I put in. But we grow, we live, and we learn. But now that my other business is pretty automated, I'm hoping to see a ton of growth for the rest of 2025. Systems are everything. It's another lesson that I learned. Automation is critical when you're scaling, especially if you're kind of a solopreneur like myself. I have a VA, but ultimately you can automate this business like honestly 95% of the way. And that's what attracted me most with it, the possibility of just like, being anywhere around the world and still running your business, especially if you have the proper teams and proper systems in place. And then next thing was diversify your streams. So I believe that I'm going to actually go back to co-hosting. First unit ever with Airbnb was actually a co-hosting unit. I had an awful owner. Essentially, I pretty much got scammed. So I'll make an entire video on that. But basically, I want to have a good portion of it rental arbitrage. And the only reason why is because rental arbitrage, the risk is obviously you buy furniture and then which furniture depreciates the second that you buy it. And you have to pay the landlord's rent and everything. And don't get me wrong, if you do it the proper way, there shouldn't be any issues. But if you're looking to eventually, exit, I've seen people exit out of co-hosting rather than, it almost seems like it's hard to exit out of rental arbitrage companies. I mostly see like co-hosting / property management companies are actually able to sell their company. So I want to diversify in that way too. Actually, I'll be telling you guys a little bit about another business venture that actually, is going to help my Airbnb business that I'll tell you guys here in a second. But basically my next steps to get to 100K per month is I'm going to focus on direct bookings as well. It's something that I've missed out on. I've had a ton of repeat guests that I think that I could benefit off of not giving like, 15, 20%, whatever it is to Airbnb and different like, fees that they charge. And then I want to add more units here in slow season. I've always been adding units pretty much in high season. So even though I've got pretty good, concessions and different things like that, I think I can ultimately get better deals. Really targeting landlords when they're suffering, especially apartment complexes. They have like 20 units vacant. They'll pretty much just give it to you. I want to bring on hosting clients, and as well as I want to drop properties that kind of give me a little bit of headache. And those are only two of them. They're kind of in, I would say D class. For the actual city that they're in, it's probably C or B. No, I'd say C class. But in terms of any other city, it's definitely D. And they give me the biggest headache because they're older buildings, different things with their HVAC system and stuff like that. So definitely, I don't think I'm going to renew lease with them. And I believe though that ends like I would say June or July. I think I'm going to let those two units go and maybe go use the furniture, add a few things. When I was running out of money when I was getting those two units up and running. So they're not furnished the best, but they still actually do pretty well when it comes to revenue. But I think the headache is just not worth it anymore, to be honest. So I'm going to let those go. But basically my vision for 25 as a whole, year, I want to be at 60K per month gross revenue with 20 plus units. And that's including co-hosting clients. And then overall, like you guys know, the goal is to build a 100K a month Airbnb business using software. I want to start focusing on getting A plus properties, and then obviously scaling my virtual team. Hopefully with AI, kind of heard, AI is going really well for other Airbnb hosts. So hopefully maybe we won't have to have, too many virtual assistants, maybe just a couple, and to be able to scale 100K per month, which I believe we can. And that's basically kind of the first video here. I want to just give you guys a quick overview of my business, Airbnb business. And the third business that I'm actually starting is actually a cleaning company. It's a remote cleaning company. Obviously, I'm not going to be the one that's cleaning, but basically I'm going to leverage current Airbnb units because for those of you that know, your biggest variable cost when it comes to rental arbitrage is going to be your cleaning. So I actually decided I'm going to start to scale vertically versus scaling horizontally. So I'm going to get more units in the cities that I currently operate in, and to be able to leverage, having that leverage against, the cleaning, because cleaning, honestly, cleaners charge so much. At first I was, whether you think this is a lot or not, but when I first started Airbnb in one of my cities, I was paying $85 every single clean, and I could only charge honestly $85 for a clean. So I was making no money off of it. And, some people say, you shouldn't be profiting off your cleaning, but I think when you have to buy so many different toiletries and different things like that, it definitely helps. And so when I got one of the cities I'm in, I have 9 units in one complex actually. So it gave me a ton of leverage. So I actually brought my cleaning fee down to $50 clean for my one bedrooms. And I could even get it even lower if I still contract that out, but I could get it even lower if I had my own clean team. So that's where we're really starting now. Hopefully we can get that even down even more, because you actually start to once you get it down to a certain point, you actually start to see the benefit as well. Ultimately, that's that for other business. And I'm going to definitely make a video on that because that's recent. We actually had our first clean on Thursday. I'm going to be also doing residential when it comes to the cleaning business. But I'm going to keep this video just about Airbnb. But yeah, if you like transparency, you can subscribe here. And then you can also follow my Instagram, which will be Manny B&B. That's going to be everything Airbnb. And I'm going to be basically documenting everything on here. I'm going live. I'm going to start to shoot out reels on the journey as well. But this will be all Airbnb. And then I'm also going to make videos on my remote cleaning business. For the vision for 2025, basically, I'm going to shoot for 100K by the end of the year per month with my Airbnb rental arbitrage business. So subscribe to follow the journey. I scale from 36K to 100K per month. And please drop in the comments if you have any questions. I'll answer all of them. And I will talk to you guys next time. Have a good one.